Hello, everybody. So, I wanted to share a couple of questions that I use to create my life and love these questions from Access Consciousness. There, how will my life be in 5 years if I choose this? And you get an awareness. Is it expansive? Is it contractive? How will my life be in 5 years if I don't choose this? Or you can say 10 years or 15 years or 50 years. And those questions help you get beyond your calculations and trying to figure it out and into what it will really create. Because on some level, you, the infinite being, already know. Okay, so as we get into like exploring investments and stuff like that, this can be really useful. For example, if I ask, okay, so if I choose to buy silver today, how will my life be in 5 years? And if not, how will my life be? Which might have me going out to buy silver that day. And as we look at wealth, the dictionary has a certain definition. If you look at the 1828 dictionary, it says it's prosperity, riches, large possessions of money, good, or land, affluence. And the Access Foundation class has the information that wealth is having things that other people value. So, for example, if you have a lot of land, that's something that people value. If you have, it talks about an antique versus a bed you bought at IKEA. That antique is valuable to people when you buy it at IKEA or Walmart. It goes down in value the moment you buy it, right? It's used now or when you open the box. So starting to look at what's valuable, and you don't have to have a lot of money to do this. I mean, you could say, well, silver's out of the question, even though silver, for one little silver bullion it's like $17 right now, which is undervalued actually. If you look at it and start to ask questions, and you look at if you live in the U.S. and you're keeping your money in savings, what's the interest rate? Really low, like super duper low. And look at how much gas was 15 years ago. Right? Was gas less or more than now? Gas was less. And so if you look at the price of what things were 15 years ago and what things are now, like the interest rate in the bank has not caught up to the inflation that we're having, right? The inflationary prices, the rise in price from gas then to gas now, the rise in price for a home then to a home now. Like, if you just put your money in the bank and it's sitting there, your money is not actually catching up. You're losing money. Okay, it doesn't make sense, right? You're not losing dollar amounts, but you're losing money because your money that you put in there is not worth as much now. Okay, so that's why it's important to find investment techniques that work for you and to create more money by asking questions and looking at, like, if I buy this thing, will it be worth more in 10 years or less in 10 years? How will my life be in 10 years if I choose to buy this? Okay, so looking at gold, looking at gems, jewelry, you could go to garage sales and do this, or a thrift market and do this. Like, if I buy this item, how will my life be in 10 years? And there's a book called The Penny Capitalist, and it talks about doing this. You can find it on Amazon or at the Access shop. It's by James Hester. And he talks about building wealth from having very little, going to garage sales or penny stocks, pot stocks, are a thing right now. And so you can look at, okay, pot stocks, there are a lot of very low cost pot stocks, and what would it create if I buy that in 10 years? Um, and other small value, you know, penny stocks as well. Then the next item you could look at is even the change in your purse that you have or in your, jar at home. Start to learn about like the differences in dimes and when they were created and the small demarcations that maybe something's irregular or unusual. Your 10 cents might be worth 25 bucks or $200. Just depending on, its specific nuances. And so if you don't have a lot of money, you can start to look at like, hey, is any of my change worth more than I think it is? And learn about coins and things like that. So the whole point about this conversation is really, what can you add to your life to create wealth? Renting's one thing, buying a home is a different thing. When we moved to Maui, like we realized pretty quickly that it was so much more worthwhile for us to buy a house than to rent one. And we ultimately now have several houses here. So, um, what can you add to your life? We started asking yesterday to create more money right away. There are lots of active birds over there. And where are you spending money that's actually not making you money versus where are you spending money that could make you money? And looking at that. And again, if this was a confusing conversation, like, well, I put my money in the bank, how is it worth less? Look up inflation and bank interest. Google it. Today's the last day, and of this, unless you're joining me for 2 months, and you have to educate yourself. Most people are not really educated about finances and money, which causes a level of discomfort about having money because if we don't know about money, how can we trust ourselves about money? Right? So start to educate yourself about what you're interested in. I'm super interested in options. I'm super interested in tanzanite and silver and things like that. So you have to like not just blindly go into it, but like ask your own awareness and gather information as well. Chatissa Bowman is an amazing woman. You can find her stuff. She does a lot of Right Riches for You classes, and she talks about being the CFO of your own life, Chief Financial Officer. And so, what would you have to do different in order to really be the CFO of your life? There are lots of amazing banking apps where you can keep track of what you spend, what you make, where your money is. There is just a wealth. In this day and age, there are no excuses for not looking into what you're interested in and building wealth from that. And if you don't have the money, find someone who does. When I started being interested in flipping houses, did I have the money to really buy a house? No, but when you partner with someone who does, then all things are possible, all the time. So like, what would it take for me to do this? What would it take for me to change this? How can I create this with total ease? And then you start to build wealth. All right, it doesn't just magically appear. it, and if it does, because you've inherited it, oftentimes your inheritance is a lot less than you expect it to be. So what if you had no expectations and were just like, where can I start to put my energy in order to create a greater future for me, in order to create wealth for now and the future? So that's it for today, for this video, and I look forward to seeing you on Facebook Live later. Yes, I'm going to post a link as well for you to join me for the 2 months at this special price. and just have this special price up for about 3 days for you to choose it if it's light and right for you. And yeah, what magic can we create? And again, I just so love hearing from you guys. It's fun to see what awarenesses and doors have opened. And this is only the beginning. So I look forward to playing with you in the future, and I would love to hear from you. What worked, what didn't work, you name it. Thanks.